It's been 46 days since the previous Bannerlord patch, and looking at these gigantic patch notes, it's immediately clear why. There are a ton of game-changing mechanics added to the game. There are also several balance changes and tons of bug fixes, so without further ado, let's take a look. First up, quite a long list of crash fixes. Some of these I've seen on the forums, but none that I've experienced personally. It's great to see they're fixing things that people are asking for. Next up, performance. I'm always happy to see a long list here, as the game can eat up a ton of system resources. In the last couple of patches, I had to lower the unit cap some to avoid the 1 FPS crawl, but looking at this max unit cap battle with reinforcements, there was very minimal frame drops. Switching between screens is also buttery smooth. Post-battle prisoner screen and loot screens don't have the second long delay anymore. Cycling through chat to get to missions is also silky smooth. I'm super impressed with these optimizations, and I think it will add a much more enjoyable playthrough experience. Under art, we see a couple new armor pieces added, which is nice because it's not Batanian armor for once. Starting with the ornate legionary scale mail, beautiful shiny brass plates with chainmail, looking good. The stats are decent too, giving 36 body, 15 leg, and 6 arm armor. The decorated legionary mail is a bit more simple looking, but has similar aesthetics as the previous, and the armor is good as well, giving 30 body, 18 leg, and 8 arm armor. Now we get into the big stuff, starting with UI changes. Custom battles now go up to 1,000 versus 1,000, which is amazing for getting large battle experience. It used to cap out at 500 versus 500, so this is a huge increase. There's a new option that is added to hide the battle UI. If you watched my Robin Hood playthrough, then you'll know exactly what this is, but now it's in a clickable option rather than having to go through the console commands each time. It disables all UI elements, including your aiming reticle and enemy location info when pressing Alt. It's great for cinematic immersion, and I highly recommend trying a playthrough with this on. There are several others, but these are the big ones. Now, the part that we've all been waiting for months. Battle order and battle terrain system. Battle terrain system basically makes the campaign map correlate to what the actual battles will look like. For example, if you sit on one side of a bridge and the enemy engages you from the other side, you should spawn in a commanding location to hold the choke. In the first couple of tests, I wasn't able to get it to work, as the map either spawned with no bridge or water at all, or it was just water with no bridge, and the enemy spawned on the same side of the water as our troops. I need to run more testing to see how this works exactly before drawing any big conclusions. The battle order system is a really nice addition. We can arrange our troops pre-battle into whatever groups and formations we wish, as well as assigning captains to lead those groups. Spawning in, we see the standard Group 1 infantry, Group 2 archers, and Group 3 cavalry. We can create new groups such as this one, which is a combination of infantry and archers into a single group. The slider determines how many troops go into that group and is percentage based. We can also lock the troops in groups so that when we adjust other formations of the same type, it will maintain the ratio we picked for this specific group. We can also assign companions to lead groups, giving those troops all of the captain perks that they have. Hovering your mouse over the picture doesn't tell you much, but pressing Alt will bring up all of their captain perks, so we can make sure we pick the right one for that group. We can move groups around and select what formation type we want them to be in, much like we were able to do in Sieges previously. Overall, this is a great addition, and I'm really excited to start working on captain perk combinations. Morale was overhauled some, although this will require a lot of testing to see if it's effective or not. Starvation for Sieges has been adjusted. Starving troops now only become injured instead of dying, and they still consume food from the town. It seems like starving the garrison is much more effective, and numbers will drop faster, although if you don't assault and take the town, those troops will heal back up. This seems like a great change. Now for the moment thousands of us have been waiting for. Siege ladders and towers are
working.
Yes, they're actually working. We can see from the testing that both ladders are being used on both sides of this castle. Then testing the siege towers, we see all 3 ladders being used. They even fixed the main gate troops going through after they take out the gate. The results from this siege were incredible, considering how we only had basic siege equipment. This is a game changer, and Tailworlds delivered big time here. There is also a cool feature that slows the game down by 75% while giving orders, allowing us a little bit of time to direct troops. Not a big deal, but it's a nice addition, I think. They also changed after battle commands. Before, you were not able to command any troop once the final enemy began to flee. Now you can command half of the troops while the other half stop to cheer. An odd fix, but it's better than what we had before. The charm perks got a complete overhaul, and while I won't go over everything here, I'll point out a couple big ones. Level 25 self-promoter gives 5 influence per tournament win. It's not a great perk, but it comes at level 25, so as a mercenary or vassal in the early game, it makes sense to do tournaments to make influence. At level 125, one perk costs costs less influence to initiate kingdom decisions, and another costs less to vote on others' proposals. If you want to drain clan members' influence so you can take their fiefs with a vote, then Firebrand is amazing, making it 50% cheaper to do so. Flexible ethics is great when you are a vassal, making it cheaper to vote for fiefs that you want to take in the early game. Level 250 gives +1 companion, which is really nice for the late game when you need more governors or captains. The economy had a huge change. Most item prices were reduced, with higher tier items being reduced even more. Before, late game armor would trade for about 240,000 dinars, and now it's down to less than 100,000. This will drastically change the effect smithing has on playthroughs now, since higher tier weapon crafts will no longer be worth nearly as much. They also increased selling trade penalty, furthering my previous point. Crafting had a couple changes as well, adding a crafting history so we can go back to the previous 10 weapons we made rather than having a copy and paste or rebuilding from scratch. Supposedly there's a better explanation as to why a crafting order failed, but I didn't notice any difference, but I might need to do some more testing here. There were a ton of quest fixes and adjustments, which should help a lot for the early game grind. There were also a ton of balancing changes, way too many to go over here, but let's highlight just a couple of the big ones. The Patanian Oathsworn no longer have javelins. This is a huge nerf. Certain crossbow bolts now have armor piercing stats, such as heavy quarrels having +3 and light quarrels having +1 to piercing. Aserai Mameluke no longer have maces, making it harder to build an army of prisoner gatherers. There were a lot of multiplayer changes, which we won't go over, but I'm sure these are welcomed. Some final changes towards the bottom. We can now zoom in with the ballista, making this a great option for sniping troops off the wall during a siege assault. Damage from individual projectiles for siege engines that fire multiple projectiles, meaning onagers, the damage is now reduced. We'll have to wait and see how much of a change this actually makes, but I suspect they're probably still going to do a lot of damage. Overall, I'm very happy with this patch so far. I haven't had enough time to test everything out thoroughly, but from what I have tested, it's great, and I highly recommend upgrading to the beta branch to give it a go. The sieges working properly and being able to use captain perks alone would be enough, but there's a lot more to it than that. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe before you leave. Take care.